Good afternoon, guys. This is my UDL lesson plan that I've created with my fellow colleagues. To start off, we're going to go through the common standards, which was HSS 3.2, which is students describe the American Indian nations and their local region long ago and in this recent past, and the substandard, which is HSS 3.2.1, which is describe national identities, religious beliefs, customs, and various folklore traditions. Our learning objective that we came up with was students will be able to describe national identities, religious beliefs, customs, and various folklore traditions through an outline, blog journal, or mind map with 6 out of the 9 characteristics correct. And for our level of bloom, it is understand. Our co-teaching model is the station model. Some of the barriers that we came up with is the noise level, which is very problematic in the classroom. We came up with a solution of establishing voice levels before an activity begins, letting the students know at what level they should be talking at so they do not disrupt any of the other centers that are doing their work. And making sure your voice is at an appropriate level so it is not to disturb anyone else. So our evidence of mastery or assessment is summative, which is the completion of either outline, blog journal, or a mind map with again 6 out of the 9 correct characteristics. Some of the barriers for students would be difficulties holding a pencil, hard to read handwriting, lack of computer skills, difficulties typing. Teacher needs to be aware of all students might not have background knowledge on any local groups. When it comes to looking at those barriers, some of the solutions we came up with is the students will have various options that cater to different needs, which would be the outline, the blog journals, or the mind map that they could use, which incorporate writing, typing, or drawing. Before starting this lesson, teachers could give a little bit of background information each day to prime the students so they know what to expect and what they will be learning about before the lesson starts. Some students may take a little more time to complete their assignments, so you should always be aware of that as a teacher. And if they are unable to finish in the allotted time, they are able to take the work home and finish it as homework. So now we go into our evaluation, which is formative and our procedures. So we started off with engaging the class about Native Americans in the area. And we would go into a KWL chart. First, we would ask students to complete the K and ask, what do you know about Native Americans? Do you know any specific nations? What do you know about California Native Americans? And then once we have a good amount of answers for that section, we move on to the W, which we would ask, what do you want to know about California natives? And what are you curious about? Once that is finished, we are going to hold off on the L section for after our centers, and we go right into our centers and go through what do you think they ate, what do you think they wore, what do you think they believed, and how did they live, and what did their houses look like. And then that way we can dive into more of their interests as we explain a little bit about the different nations. And then we would go into a jigsaw questionnaire and make them give us 3 to 5 characteristics that were described in the centers and complete one section of the Venn diagram listing their characteristics and then discussing it as a group. Some of the barriers would be students could misunderstand the culture they are learning about and still participate that way, same way currently. Some of the solutions would be we could bring in a member of the community come in to speak about their culture and how it's changed or evolved, and explain to students that some of these cultures may not believe in the same things, introducing the literature that shows kind of their updated traditions and insights. And then finally, to help students see oppression amongst these groups, remember to keep students engaged, try to make content as relevant as possible, and check in throughout to clear up misconceptions and misunderstanding. And that is our lesson plan.